I've got my flight jacket here. You typically have 4 areas of Velcro to put patches on. It's pretty standardized that over your left chest breast patch is where your name or call sign goes, right? It also typically has your wings. Some wings have this little thing at the top, right? It's a star and a little, what is that, a wreath around it. And so that depends on your experience, right? If there's nothing above the wings, we call them slick wings, and that's what you first get out of pilot training. Later on, after a certain amount of experience, years and flight hours, you add a star to that for a senior pilot. And then beyond that, more years, more experience, you add the wreath, which is a command pilot. Some services at some times allow a call sign instead of a first name. So as you can see, this says Motor Walsh. Sometimes that's only allowed on Fridays. It changed numerous times on what was authorized and what was not. We typically wear our squadron patch. We typically wear our base patch. And then over our right side, we typically have our MAJCOM, which is the major command. So if you're part of Air Combat Command, Air Education and Training Command, SOUTHCOM sides are where you'll typically wear your base and your squadron. Now, if you're a weapons school graduate, you'll wear your weapons school patch from the day you graduate forever beyond that. Oftentimes in squadrons, especially in squadron for like C-17, KC-135, they'll wear an American flag patch on one side. Typically in a fighter squadron, you'll wear your wing and your squadron on either side. Sometimes you're even allowed to wear a little, what's called a pencil patch. And that is, there's a flap that comes on the flight suit that is a pencil flap, and fighter pilots, we typically cut that off. Don't do it to be cool. We do it because literally when you're flying in a fighter jet, you can't be messing around with this flap and trying to get your pencil out. We also typically cut the flap off of your right leg on the interior pocket. It is there so that you can put a hook knife. But if you're flying in a fighter jet, you're wearing a G suit over it, and your hook knife is in the G suit. So we typically cut that pocket off so it's not underneath your G suit being pressed into your leg. It's got a button and ridges on the pocket. Some people will make fun of fighter pilots saying that they're modifying the uniform, or even say that they're out of uniform for modifying it. But we do it for a very specific purpose, and that is, it's just not functional. When you have a flap over your pencil, you're going 600 miles an hour and you're trying to write down coordinates that the JTAC is giving you, and you're fumbling for a pencil. It's not cool. So we do modify our flight suits a little bit like that. And that, again, is dependent on unit. It's dependent on service. So this is specific to my experience, but we wear those 4 patches pretty standard. And then what you are allowed to get away with tends to vary over time. So you always have something identifying who you are. You always have something identifying your rank. You always have something identifying the unit you're associated with. And that's kind of the general rule of thumb for the patches people wear. If you have more questions like that, drop them in the comments.